Hey guys, this is Rob with the daily oil trading room recap for the week ending June 14th, where I'm going to cover with you today some patterns and things that we did in the room and some cool stuff that you can use in your trading that will bring value to the table for you, and some resources for taking it to another level if you want to. First off, past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. There's a risk of loss trading futures. And if you need to, pause the video and read this disclaimer. What I'm going to cover in this edition for the Oil Trading Room OTR, what a 4.5-year room member veteran has to say about the Oil Trading Room, range expansion concepts that cook, breakpoint system continued results this week, and how to trade targets with high theoretical win percentages, and knowing where not to trade using the super map that we use in the trading room every day. This was sent over to me this week from, like I said, a 4.5-year veteran. And you can just go ahead and read that. This gentleman's been in the room since day one, and his growth as a trader has just been tremendous. And so you can see that posted there at oiltradingroom.com/reviews. So I'm going to cover range expansion here. So range expansion is really what trading is all about at some level. As you start the day, each day the market trades at the open at 0. It's at 0 at the open. The two questions that you want to ask is, how far will it go? And what's the probability of getting there? Another question that you do want to know is what direction it's going. And we provide the tools in the room for figuring these things out. But when you put these things together that I'm about to show you with that, your probability for success skyrockets, especially if you have high probability entry methods towards that goal. So in each of the last 50 days, we hit our base room 85 tick target 92% of the time. And so you know pretty much that the market's going to do that with high probability. In the last month, we've hit our daily targets that we put out at 10 minutes after the market opens each day. We have two of them that we use, 77% and 94%. These have been hit 86% of the time when you combine them together. Recently, any number of these targets have been well over 100 ticks. You got the 85 tick target, and you got these targets that are often even bigger with high win percentage tag rates. Historical, theoretical tag rates. So yesterday, for example, we opened at 53, and we traded to both the targets that were 52.10 and 52.18, and so upwards of 80, 90 ticks away. And we also tagged our 85 tick target today. And well, these numbers are published, as I said, for members each day at 10 minutes after the room open. It's really nice to have these numbers each day so that you've got a big picture of what's happening. Now, we have other targeting methods that we actually use in the room. Let me go back to that. We have other targeting methods that we use in the room that have an even higher historical tag rate. One we were discussing today in the room is a 96% tag rate over, I forget, it's like 1,000 days. 96% over 1,000 days. And so that's just one of the benefits that we have. And we have other targets too that are hit anywhere in the 80, 79, 80% and higher. a number of weeks ago, or possibly 8 weeks ago, I did a webinar on the line break system that you can see on our webinars page. The line break system. And this has a historical theoretical win percent of 89%. We'd had a couple of weeks where we kind of got ahead of the curve. 100% weeks we had, and up in the 90s. This last week we had an 84% hit rate on this, or success rate on this method. Yeah, and in the room, that's the chart on the bottom left of the room, and you can see that on an ongoing basis during the day. When you see a stripe on the chart, red or green, the probability of going there is theoretical, historical, 89%. We also have other methods in using this chart that are also around 89% probable. I'm just showing you this one, so there are more of them actually. This is a line break system result for this week. There were 16 individual wins. I think there was one more win after I published this because I was doing it before the market closed. 84% win rate this week. Yeah. Earlier I discussed, well, how do you trade to the daily targets? And one of these methods, or any of these targeting methods, we call the LO pattern in the room. There were 7 signals today. We know that this pattern is about 92% to win, 92% to win when you're going with the trend. Yeah. And so I marked these patterns out for you today. And this is just something that's super easy to learn. It's something that this week we discussed in the room. I suggested for new members to learn this pattern because it's super easy to identify and see. It doesn't take a lot of sophistication. It's a trend continuation pattern. And today there were 7 signals, and I've marked them out for you here and here. Another one here, another one here, another one here, another one here, and we had one here that faked out. That one was counter to the trend. As I said, it's higher with the trend or the cycling, and another one here. And so there were 7 signals from today. Super easy to learn this one, and with an 88% win rate on that LO pattern. Yeah, very, very cool. This pattern is using the concept that order flow leads price in movement. Order flow leads price in movement. This is a concept that is behind a lot of the work that we do. A lot of the trading that we do in the oil trading room is a very proven concept over long periods of time that we use over and over and over again to achieve high win percentage trading. And then you can trade these patterns towards those targets that we discussed earlier. This is a super map I've introduced in prior weeks. And last week I introduced this, or we discussed the concept of seeing where the market was too stretched out. You could go look at last week's update if you want to learn a little bit more about that. Today I wanted to share with you something that I point out to members all the time, and another usage of the super map. There are many different uses of this super map, but we have here in G period and H period only a 30% probability that you will break out of the prior period by 5 ticks. And in H period, it's only 10 ticks. So if I go back to that chart we were just looking at, this one here, I see G period. I know that the probability of that breaking out is only 30%. So you don't want to take a trade right there. You don't want to take a trade right there unless you are going to be really super tight on it. Yeah. And on this one, only 10%, and you can see that that just traded inside like that. Yeah. And so once that period was over, you can see that you got range expansion following in the next period, I. And what I said was that there was an 80% probability that I was going to break the prior, and 60% said I was going to do it by 10 ticks. Yeah, by 10 ticks. And so the market came out that low right there, and it went about 15, 16, 17 in there. Yeah. And so a signal like that, when you combine it with these other statistics, gets what we call probability stacking. Very, very powerful stuff. And we do this kind of stuff all day long. I lecture in the room for 2 hours teaching these methods. You can do it on your own, but it's nice to have that resource for expanding your knowledge in a live trading environment. Yeah, so that's a couple of super mapping concepts for you right there that shows how you can use this kind of information to your advantage and to know where to trade, but more importantly, where not to trade. Yeah, I gave you 2 examples of where not to trade, and I gave you another example of where to trade, you know, using the super map. So why the oil trading room method is not like anything else. What we're doing here in these examples that I'm showing you is we're using science. And science comes from the Latin word to know. And then what we do is we find situations where probabilities for a certain outcome, like the example I just showed you, are stacked in the same direction. Stacked in the same direction. And when you get that, you get a high theoretical probability. If you have 2 signals that are 75%, I just showed you one where it's 92% and 80%. When you combine those together, you're going to get a win percentage upwards of 96, 97%, somewhere in there. Yeah. And so if you'd like to learn more about what we do, you can go look at the reviews page there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us through the website, oiltradingroom.com. You can learn more about the kind of tools that we use on the indicatorsmart.com website. That is our sister website. And so you can get all the resources from this recap at the oiltradingroom.com. And you can get information on the tools and resources at indicatorsmart.com and get what you like at these sites. Yeah, that's what I have for you this week. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share methods for trading that work and are like nothing else out there. We'd love to have you in the room. Go to the website, oiltradingroom.com, the home page there, and make sure you use the coupon code for a nice discount, Black Gold 249. Key it in at checkout for a nice discount. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to share. Have a super weekend, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you.